Hi, my name is James Fay. I'll be the instructor for this course, 1260 Statistics. I'll walk you through a few things here in Canvas and introduce you to a few things that we will use throughout the course for tests, quizzes, homework, and answer any questions that you may have prior to starting this course. Again, if anything does come up during the course that you have questions about, do not hesitate to reach out through Canvas email, Road State email, and I'm going to show you how to ask content questions through it's called XYZ, the online platform we use for homework. I'll show you how to ask questions through that. First thing I want to show you is obviously the course leaf syllabus. Now, this course leaf syllabus will be functional by the time class officially starts. I know this stuff has to be posted a couple days before the official start date, so I'll get that corrected and working hopefully by the first day the class starts. But everything that you will be able to access throughout these introductory assignments will lay out exactly what that course leaf syllabus lays out. First thing I want you to do, I know this says do this first, but I think the paramount, most important thing here is to look at these due dates. Click on this link here. Read this paragraph. Basically what it does is tells you, or explains to you that I understand that your intent of taking an online class is for the flexibility. That being said, through years of teaching this, I've learned that though flexibility is good, there still needs to be structure. So there are still due dates that assignments have to be done by, but you can work as far ahead as you want to. Now, some quizzes and tests you will not be able to access until that time period for the entire course. So I wouldn't work too far ahead of those, just for the mere fact that if I work, 3-4 chapters ahead, and then I gotta go back and take chapter 1 quiz, some of that stuff may have escaped me, and I have to kind of revisit those things, and it can be difficult because those tests and quizzes are timed. So I would just be careful with that. But you can work on assignments as far ahead as you would like. Quizzes are going to open on Wednesdays. You can complete them on Wednesday. You can do them on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. They're going to be due on Saturday evening, 11:59 p.m. When you do open a quiz or a test, you have to do that in one sitting. You cannot open it, do a couple questions, close it. It has to be open once and completed in that one sitting. They are timed, so that's something to be aware of and make sure you're prepared for. If you're not prepared for it, you may, exhaust your time limit before you get through all the questions. Click this link. My suggestion, just go ahead and download this, print it off. It's nice to have a hard copy of it. But it just, it's just a calendar that lays out the weeks, and then you can see that on Saturday evening, all your assignments are going to be due on Saturday evenings. Okay. Quizzes are made available on Wednesdays. Again, also due on Saturday evenings. Do not hesitate, or yes, I don't say hesitate. Do not procrastinate. Do not wait till Saturday to get in and do these 4 or 5 lessons. For the mere fact that if you have some technology issues and you get locked out, or you can't get to it, or Wi-Fi, whatever it may be. If you wait till the last minute and then you email me saying I'm having issues, we might not be able to get those resolved before these due dates. Okay, but if you start working on this stuff on Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday you find out, hey, I'm having trouble with these. I need some questions to ask. I need to, have some maybe troubleshooting with the technology. and we've got plenty of time to get those things ironed out before those due dates. In addition, when you reach out to me, I make it a point to respond to you within 24 hours. Rare occasion, I will respond and say, hey, like I know you have this question. I'm getting to it. I'll have that answer for you maybe in the morning or something like that. That's very rare. Usually when I respond the first time, it has your answers to your questions in that response. I don't want you waiting multiple days. If for any reason I do miss an email from you, do not hesitate to say, hey, I sent you an email 2 weeks ago, or not 2 weeks, 2 days ago. Can you respond? Make sure that you follow up if you don't get something back from me. But like I said, I make it a priority to get answers to you within 24 hours. If there are content-related questions that need a full explanation, I generally do those like in a video like this, and I'll post it to YouTube and then share that link with you. The statistics class, just math in general, is hard to really understand and grasp through typing to convey the information that you really need because of all the symbols and notation, all that kind of stuff. So I like to do that through video. Often I'll keep those videos very impersonal, so I can share those with the entire class, or if somebody, 3 or 4 people have the same question, I share that with those 3 or 4 people. Like I said, the quizzes are available on Wednesdays at 12 a.m. And everything's going to close off on Saturdays at 11:59 p.m. Now, there are situations where you may, if I don't get the 2.7 assignment due on Saturday the 7th, you will have opportunities to make up some late work, and I'll explain that as we go through the online system for our homework. But I would download this, print it off. Ignore that right there. I should have cut and pasted that right there, or deleted that. So ignore that stuff up there at the top of that page in October. There's quite a bit of assignments. So it is something you want to stay on top of. You don't want to get too far behind with things because it will be a kind of insurmountable amount of work if you get behind. So I would download that first. Let's take you back to Canvas here. This overview here, I want to make sure that you take a peek of that. That's where this video is. You've already clicked on that and you're watching it, but this stuff here is important. Okay. In order to operate within this course, you're going to need a subscription to, it's called XYZ. I think it's about $30. They may have changed that. The last time I looked at it, it was $30. It's a 3-year subscription, I believe. They do have discount codes. I emailed them this evening to see what is the current discount code. I would assume, and I will send this out in an email. I would assume the code is XYZF24. Okay, XYZ, and then the fall term 24. That's just kind of the pattern they've used in the past. My email. This is the link to our textbook. Click on that link. It's a free textbook. Rice University has a kind of put a conglomeration of authors have come together and developed resources that are free. So this is the text that we use. It's very good text for being free. Over here on the left hand side, you see table of contents. You can go through those as we go through the lessons. Now, I'm not going to say that the lessons are going to force you to, look at section 2.1 in the textbook and read it and grasp all that information. I would argue, this is the book that drives the course. It's the book that the course is structured around. But I don't think too many assignments tell you to go look at it. But this is a resource. If you want a full understanding of the statistics course, I would use this as and hand in hand with the lessons that you're going to encounter through the course. But that's, I mean, it's an online textbook. It's pretty easy to navigate. If you want to download it as a PDF, you can do that. So go back to this. The course is weighted. All right, quizzes are very important. You'll have 6 quizzes and a writing assignment. And that writing assignment is within the quiz category. Final exam is 25% of your grade. Midterm is 20%. And then our assignments that we'll talk about here in a moment are 30% of your grade. Again, link to the textbook. This is a discussion. It's open. Not a lot of people in the past have used it. You can use that to communicate with your classmates to, hey, I don't understand how to do this question. I don't understand this concept. Does anybody have any pointers or ideas? And I look through that every once in a while. If there's any concepts that I see a lot of people are struggling on, I will provide additional resources to explain those things. This here is a discussion to meet your classmates. I would like all of you to do this. It is for points to just basically introduce who you are, what your field of study is, what your major is. Are you a CCP student in high school? Are you a college student? That sort of thing. Tell you a little bit about myself so I don't have to do that. I have taught high school mathematics for 15 years, teaching everything from pre-algebra through calculus. I predominantly did that at Bath High School here in Lima. The last 4 years I've been the assistant principal at Bath High School. And for the last it's probably been the last 10 years, I've taught a range of courses at Rhodes, from introductory mathematics, kind of equivalent to maybe Algebra 2 type courses in high school, all the way through trigonometry, college algebra, statistics, calculus. There's a little bit about me. I've got 2 kids, a wife, and live here in the Lima area. This link here, that is just kind of going to be, right now it's the Fall 23 PDF. Hopefully they provide me the Fall 24 PDF. But it should be the same exact instructions on how to sign up for XYZ, on how to get that subscription going for yourself. You can see down here, there's where I said the code was XYZF23, so I would assume that since it's 24 now, it'd be XYZF24. If you have any issues regarding technical issues with XYZ, I'm not a tech person. I'm savvy with technology, but sometimes I'm not able to answer the questions you may have with them in regards to your subscription or login, username, that kind of stuff. You'll have to contact them on your own through this link here, or that email address. They are very good at responding within, I would say within 12 hours they'll respond to you, if not within the hour. They're very good at responding to situations. They give you a 15-day free trial. This has been something that some people in the past have gotten themselves in a little bit of trouble with, and I know funding is a situation, an issue, and everybody's a little bit different. But I've had people go through the 15-day trial, and then, I don't get paid until next week. Well, okay, you're locked out of XYZ for 7 days, and you're going to fall behind, and you're going to have some assignments that you miss, or you may have quizzes that you miss, and those are things they can't change. So you're going to have to, it just makes sense you're going to have this program for the duration of the course. You might as well just bite the bullet and purchase that day one, so you don't have any of those tech issues with your subscription and that kind of stuff. Okay, so as you're going through, I have it set up in weeks. So week 1, starting on the 19th. You see the due dates are underneath. But once you click on lesson 1.1, I'm just going to take you through kind of a tutorial of how all these lessons are set up. You're going to load lesson 1.1 in a new window. Okay, so this here is kind of what you're going to see the first time. I'm going to sign in. Once I sign in or I create my account, this will be the first thing that once I have access, once I have a subscription, this is what I want to see. In this case, it says you can take this assignment 3 times. Highest scored attempt recorded as a grade. I'm actually going to go back and change this before you guys get into it and start actually doing the assignments. Because the way this one's set up is I have to get all the way through however many questions it is, see my score. If I don't like my score, I go back through and do it all again. I'm going to set it up to where you can do, I get question number 1, I get it wrong, I can do question number 1 again right there, get it right, now move on to question number 2. So in order to get question number 1 right on my second try, I don't have to do the entire assignment again. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm trying to make it a little bit easier and convenient for you. So I'll change that so you might not see that set of directions there when you first do lesson 1.1. I'll click start. All of these are going to be very similar. You're going to get a set of directions here. Each one of these lessons is going to have a PDF attached to it. Okay, my strong suggestion, download that PDF, print it off, because those are going to be the notes that you can take. They're guided notes that go along with these videos. Okay, so just open these up. So these are the guided notes. We're going to go through these notes, a lot of example problems within the video, and these are the notes that the instructor in those videos uses in the videos as well. So it should be easy for you to follow along and take adequate notes. Click on the YouTube video. So these videos are created by this lady here. That's Cheryl Grant. She's the lead instructor on campus at Rhodes for statistics. She's made all these videos providing the instruction. Does a very good job. The bulk of the course is designed around using the TI-8384, which I'm going to tell you right now is fine. But there are going to be situations, especially if you have a TI-83, that you can't do some of the stuff that she talks about. She uses a TI-84, and there is a little bit of programming that the TI-84 is a little bit more advanced than the 83. It incorporates a couple different functions. Generally, what I like to do, if I were teaching this stats class by myself without any chair in charge or anything, I had free reign to do it the way I wanted to, I would not use a TI-8384. I'd be using Google Sheets, Excel, GeoGebra. There's a lot of other tools out there that we can use that take place of the TI-8384, but it's sufficient. It works. So generally, if you're going to ask me a question and it involves the TI-8384, I will use that calculator to explain what's going on, but I may also supplement with, hey, here's a Google Sheet that you can do the same thing with, or here's the formula in Excel that will help you do the same thing. I have found, so using a MacBook, TI-83, or TI doesn't have apps for the MacBook, so if you were to download Calculate 84, if you don't have a TI-8384 but you have an iPhone, this is a great tool. It's designed exactly the same. I think it's a little bit better, and I think I paid like $9 for this for a lifetime subscription for it. Okay, so it's a worthy investment, because your TI-8384, if you're not going to go any further in any courses, that's $120, $140 calculator that you're going to use for one course. $9 subscription to a calculator that I think is actually better. But every function that you would have on the TI-83 or 4 is in this calculator, and it's the exact same steps to access those things. So you'll watch these videos, take notes as you watch those videos. As you get through them, and get into this lesson, you're going to start seeing down here it says first question. I go to my first question, and now it's going to ask me questions about the notes that I just took. Do I understand the information, the content that I was just instructed on? I'll go through those, and there are, from time to time in questions, links that will take you to the textbook. It just jump straight to that section to explain this stuff to you. There are hints, and sometimes there are videos. Okay, if there are videos, I strongly suggest watching those videos that are also attached to these questions. There's a couple different places you can do this. If you had a question about this problem in XYZ that you want me to address, don't email me through Canvas. Do not email me through Rhodes email. Once you're in XYZ like this, come over here and you click this button here, click messages. And what that's going to do is going to create a send new message. It's going to, and it doesn't do it here for me, but it will for you. And it might be, maybe it might be here if I check. There we go. So message instructor. If you do the little mail icon up there that I showed you, it will also send me information that'll be pertinent, that I can actually find the question you're dealing with. But if you see here, it automatically cut and paste and provided me the question ID for your specific question. So you don't have to type all this out. Basically, you can just now tell me what you're struggling with. Okay. And one thing that I'm a kind of a stickler on is I want information. I want to know what you've tried. I want to know what maybe you haven't tried. I want to know what you're confused on. I do not want answer or questions that say I don't know how to do this, or things of that fashion. It is much easier for you and me to have a conversation if you tell me what you've tried and what you know, so I have kind of a starting point for you. Otherwise, I'm going to start all the way at the beginning, and the information I provide you, the instruction I provide you, might be in the past. Somebody asked a couple questions. It could be a 45-minute video for you to be able to answer the one question. Where if you would have given me some foundational information about what you've tried and what you know, so maybe a picture of the work that you've done, your calculations, maybe it's a 2-minute answer instead of a 45-minute answer. Just so that's going to help both of us. If you, the more substance you can provide, the better off. And then I will respond through XYZ. So it's nice for me. So when I'm in XYZ, see if I can do this. When I'm in XYZ, it just shows up here as whether I've got a message from what student, all that kind of stuff. Tells me whether I've replied to it or whether you've replied. So it does a very good job of keeping a log of communication for us. You'll see here how many points it's out of. It'll tell you how many times you can retry the question. Pretty self-explanatory. There are times, and it shouldn't be in this class, where you've got to do too much notation in writing your answers. I think the stats class is pretty self-explanatory with typing your answers in for the questions in these assignments. I'll go back to Canvas here, see if there's anything else that is pertinent. Again, like I said, everything's broken down into weeks. Quizzes have to be done in one sitting. So once you open that up, and it's going to tell you some instructions here. Okay, not available to take after the due date. So it opens on that Wednesday. It will be due by that Saturday evening. Late passes are not allowed on quizzes. You may review your answers after the due date, and the quiz is timed, and you can see your time limit here. If any of you have accommodations, please let me know those. If you get time and a half or something like that, I can adjust those individually. The late pass, okay, so it's good that I brought that up. You get 15 late passes. So basically what that means is as you are going through these lessons and maybe you don't do 2.7. Okay, September 7th rolls by, you don't get 2.7 done. You see, okay, the next week, I'm going to go back and do that one. You can use what's called a late pass to access that assignment. And basically, you'll just click on it and it knows what the due date was, and it will tell you, do you want to use the late pass or not? Yes, and then it'll get you into the assignment. Once you exhaust your 15 late passes, then if something is late, you're going to get a 0 on that assignment. So just make sure you understand that. Quizzes and exams are not subjected to late passes. Those are things that you must take on time. I will not, it's just generally not an issue in the fall, but I will not change due dates for vacations or weddings or those types of things. Those are things that should not pop up on you, and you can plan accordingly. Like I said, you can move as far ahead as you like. So if you've got an assignment due on, and you know you're going out of town, well, you might want to do that on Wednesday and Thursday, so you don't have to do it while you're out of town on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that kind of thing. So just plan ahead. There are a few things when we get down to week 13. There's a couple videos here where we use a thing. It's called Degrees of Freedom, and Cheryl will explain it in her videos. That in statistics, there's generally more than one way to do something. And you hear the phrase, "There's more than one way to skin a cat." And in statistics, there's more than one way to maybe find a particular statistic. Now, that being said, some of those altering or acceptable ways may lead to values that are not the same. And when I mean they're not the same, they might not be as precise. And it's just basically the context in which we are conducting the statistics. If I was conducting a study or research on, you know, I don't know, the variables of, you know, playing music in a lab and how that impacts student scores. My precision there can be variable. It doesn't really have to be all that exact, or I guess accurate. Precise is the word I'm looking for. We can maybe do some rounding that's a little bit harsher than maybe what you would be normally accustomed to if you were doing like a research in how glucose levels maybe affect pregnancies. With that type of stuff, then maybe we need to be very precise with our measurements there. So precision is something, depending on the context of what the statistic is addressing, can be something that we discuss. And we'll talk about that stuff as we go through the course. But it happens especially in week 13. The questions that are written in week 13 inside XYZ do not use the degrees of freedom formula that Cheryl shows in her videos. It uses a degrees of freedom called a Satterthwaite formula. If you click on this link, this takes you to a Desmos application that I created. This is the actual formula you would use to get this number, okay? Where the formula that Cheryl provides is this number plus this number, I think, plus 2 divided by 2, which will get you something in the ballpark of 16.25. But the questions are written with this one, so it's asking for a greater degree of precision. So this is the formula we want to use in that week. And when we get close to that week, I'll explain this all again. But this is just designed, this is a calculator that you can just, instead of having to actually do this calculation, you just change these numbers to what the problem says, and it will give you the degrees of freedom value that you need to use in your calculation. I don't think there's anything else throughout her instruction that creates an issue with the XYZ homeworks. The one thing about XYZ it is a tool. So the way it's built out is XYZ is kind of the parent company. They do not create questions, from my understanding. That instructors go through and create their own questions, and then they go through a vetting process that XYZ goes through and analyzes those problems. Other instructors peer review those questions, and then those questions become part of XYZ, and then we can choose them and make them in our assignments. Sometimes, just depending on the author that writes those questions, there may be some discrepancies in regards to feedback that you might get if you get it wrong. For instance, if it asks you to round to 2 decimal places, you round to 2 decimal places incorrectly, the feedback might give you an answer that's out to 10 decimal places. That's just the coding of the problem. It would have accepted, if you would have rounded to 2 decimal places correctly, it would have accepted that, even though when you're wrong, it shows you that it should have been 10 decimal places. Those may be issues that some of you come across and you email me about and we talk about. But I'm just trying to, off the top of my head here, trying to think of some main concerns, main issues that people have come across as they've done this course. I do want quizzes. I don't need to see your work on quizzes, but on exams, so your midterm and your final, there is a Dropbox. I need to see your work. I don't. I know some of these questions, if I get into that exam and I start looking at the questions, it's not going to say show your work, but you need to write down what you have put into your calculator. You need to write down what you have done, because that does multiple things. It allows me to go back and provide credit for questions. It might be a 5-point question. You got it wrong because you lacked precision. You were off by a tenth of a value or a hundredth of a unit, and it counts it wrong. So you got 0 out of 5. But if you got your work, I go back there and I can give you all those points back. Or you got 0 out of 5, but you got 4 parts of the question right, and I can see that you got that right on your work. I can go back and give you a 4 out of 5 instead of a 0 out of 5. In addition, it also minimizes cheating and that sort of thing if I can see the handwritten work that you've done. There are questions from time to time. For instance, looking at this one, this is not something that you would have to write anything down for. This is identifying vocabulary. So I understand that. I mean, that's logical. When you come across problems like that, you can just write, question 3 on this quiz, NA, not applicable, to show work, because it's a vocabulary question. But if it's something that says, hey, I grabbed my calculator and I typed in a couple things on my calculator, you need to show me what you typed in on your calculator. That work should be submitted then in this Dropbox. And there's some videos throughout this and tutorials to show you how to take pictures of your work, upload it to a PDF, and then submit that to the Dropbox. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you have trouble with that, let me know, and I can help you. The one thing I want you to understand is I've got 2 sections of this. I think 28 kids in each. So I've got, 56 kids, 56 students. I'm recording kids, 56 students. And if you don't upload your stuff to a PDF and you send me, 13 pictures of your work for an exam, think about 56 students sending me 13 pages. That's a lot for me to kind of navigate through. I need it all in one PDF, and then, like I said, there are tutorials throughout here. I believe it's in the exam expectations link to show you how to compile your work into one document and submit that one document. Just trying to think of anything else that we come across that might be of concern or issue. There are some things down here. This is statistics calculator. I think this is made by Rice University. It's in my opinion kind of cruddy, kind of hard. I mean, it looks like there are things here that are missing, but there is a program, it's called GeoGebra, that does a good job of, and I've put some links in here on how to download it, but does a good job of being able to give visuals of some of the statistics that we're doing. which I think statistics is it can be a abstract course. And if I can provide you visuals of understanding, I can make those abstract things like variance and standard deviation make more sense. So I will use, if you have questions about things, I will generally use GeoGebra to kind of draw your attention to some of those concepts of what we're really doing with the calculator and the calculations. We're approaching here 40 minutes, so I'm gonna shut this down. If you click on assignment, I would suggest just living in modules, because the assignment stuff here, I don't really like how that structures it. Once I have the course leaf syllabus going, that's a little bit better. But I would just live inside modules here and make sure you know what week we're on and just knock those out and do them in order. But hopefully this is a good experience for you. Like I said, I really enjoy teaching this class. I really enjoy just teaching in general. So do not hesitate to reach out and ask me questions. That's what Rhodes is paying me to do. Facilitate the learning, answer any questions you might have. So please do not feel as though you are being burdensome to me by doing that. Okay. And like I said, I will make it a point to respond to you within a timely fashion, within 24 hours. And I'm here to be of service to you. So use me to the extent that you can. And I hope, like I said, this is a good experience for you, a good experience for me. And hopefully along the way we learn a little bit of statistics. And we can then use that and apply that in whatever field that we are soon to enter. Like I said, Rhodes email, Canvas email, I check those things every day, so please don't hesitate.